Welcome back to the LCS and Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. I'm Riv, still here with Kobe. And Kobe, it's Evil Geniuses' backs against the wall. They face elimination and a loss here. So if there were ever a time to unleash a master plan, now is that time.
Yep, we are down in the losers brackets. And this is territory that Cloud9 are used to, with always having to make their late season runs to go through the gauntlet and always getting to Worlds. Only one team will move on, Evil Geniuses or Cloud9. See if they do continue with bottom lane focus. EG are still throwing some bans here at Sven, banning out the Ezreal, which Cloud9 love to use with the Yuumi, although not to great effect.
Making sure that gets banned out or picked. If they do pick it, they make sure it doesn't work. Seeing where they go here with these next bans. I'm just talking about kind of the teams and the pressure they're facing here, but Evil Geniuses as an org back in just a few splits. Already finding themselves back in the playoffs, but they do see a bit of struggle here when they go up against those old powerhouses like Cloud9, who have always been ones fighting for, like you said, making their way through the gauntlet, pushing it to the limits. We are to picks. Priority here for Evil Geniuses, as Caitlyn is now banned this time around, and so is Huni's Shen. Maybe a support, maybe that's Senna.
Yep, that's what I was talking about. Senna is first picked here for EG. They do take it away. Cloud9 have the option of running the reverse side of what Sven was able to get his big CS lead over Bang and Zeyzal in the previous one. So if now they're able to run the Kalista side of it, we'll see about the support matchups lining up, because supports obviously are going to determine a lot of that as well. But Cloud9 have also kept that focus up on globals, and they're going to continue to do so here. Twisted Fate again for Nisqy. Last time around, it was just on cooldown. Twisted Fate ultimate, making plays with the team, and Blabber gets the Graves again as well, for some priority in the jungle.
Yep. Easy to leave Kalista away for now, since they already have Senna. No worries until bans once again. And Evil Geniuses looking around. Do they give Huni the Rumble? It's just a hover for 3 here. That would be amazing. Yes, they lock it in. Huni gets to deal some damage from the top side of the map this game, so he may be drawing a bit of focus from Cloud9 to start. And it is going to be that Lee Sin for Svenskeren.
Elimination game. Evil Geniuses are giving Huni his best champion, the Rumble, once again. This is going to be huge for fighting around dragons as well. Rumble extremely good at pushing the wave, trying to get to level 6 first. You try and get early magic penetration, so your ultimate is even more devastating. And that AoE should be layered around the dragon fights, where you can throw it through the corridors leading up to it, draft some more CC to help your team in setting up and keeping people in that burn. Can be a way that you really will use top lane to pressure the other side of the map. So we'll keep track of his teleport. It will be very critical for EG in setting that one up, and probably going to need some more crowd control to really make it find full effectiveness. Cloud9 banning away, again, the same 2 Golden Glue champions here, those scaling super common mid lane control mages.
The Orianna's the big one to take away from that comp, just getting a shockwave into that welcome carpet. You don't want that. See if Sven can lock in here. Right now, Evil Geniuses could definitely bring a fight. So can C9. We're talking a little bit about crowd control and where that may come from consistently here from both teams. And that is checked off box there, number 1 for Cloud9 if they lock in the Ornn.
All right, Licorice happy to take up the tank side of the matchup here, and allow Huni the pushing that he wants. See what EG are going to blind for Golden Glue this time. Again, I have really liked his Zoe, but that would be some spice here. Solo lane Lucian has been rising in priority ever since those buffs. We are going to get it again here. All right, Golden Glue, what can you do with it this time?
And the tank, it looks like Zeyzal does lock in the Nautilus. Braum on the other side to block the culling and a few others. But it may just be a swap around here as they have 15 seconds to run that clock out. Cloud9 feeling good here as they come in with a composition with that Twisted Fate. Once again, the ability to go a bit global here on the map. And Gangplank not even picked up this time. They feel like they have the composition they want with Ornn going onto that top side. And now Vulcan picks up the Rakan for even more initiation and support for the team.
And a lot of safety, it being paired with the Kalista for the double initiation there for him. That makes it very difficult to navigate as a Lucian mid for Golden Glue. These carry mids, they can be very oppressive, but if you die to roams early on, if you die to jungle pressure, if you are unable to get your advantage in lane over the Twisted Fate due to other members coming to the lane, then you become very ineffective very quickly. It's definitely one of those champions that you have a lot of presence early here for EG. They are all inning on winning this game and snowballing it early.
That's what I'm excited about. You know the fuse is lit already as soon as they hit the rift. Into the top lane, we do see Licorice going on to the Ornn, facing off against Huni's Rumble. And you can't think that Licorice isn't going to do any damage. Last game, it was Ornn versus Gangplank. Gangplank did 22,000 damage. Huni on Ornn still did 17,000 damage, the second most in the game. So we're still going to be getting damage out of the top lane here. Kobe, I'm excited. These guys are playing to the max right now, and we are on the rift.
If any time was a time to live evil, it is now for EG. They have to win 3 in a row. They have to go for the reverse sweep to continue on here through playoffs. Meanwhile, Cloud9 have been unbroken in their streak of Worlds appearances, and they don't want to stop this year. It would be so crazy with how they started the year out if this would be the one where their streak would break. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here. They need to win this best of 5 and the next one to show up. But you got to take it one game at a time, and that means one level 1 at a time. Defensive vision coming out here. Same old, you drop your trinket ward, and then recall for the sweeper for Blabber.
Bang, super safe. Zeyzal just playing behind Bramble Pit. And they could be routed from Tribrush here. Luckily, nothing's happening in there. Yeah, they just ping it to say we may need to be very, very careful heading back through, but no help here for anyone. So kind of giving that idea maybe that Sven started on the top, but he's Lee Sin. They probably figured out where he could be at this point in time, and Blabber's going to be on his red.
Man, EG is just so much confidence here, giving their solo laners some bully picks and saying, all right, we are allowing you guys to be unleashed. Go aggressive. Try and get pressure in these lanes. Svenskeren is on Lee Sin. Definite playmaking available here. It does mean he also has a high priority on tracking Blabber to make sure that Golden Glue can use the mid Lucian to pressure Nisqy. You see him trying to play up in the minion wave, threatening Nisqy. If he goes for any CS, easy dash in. You always press the attack on Lucian for those solo lanes especially, so you can get the quick proc, dash in for your 2 autos, try and get one more for the damage burst. He's able to get the piercing light off, which was the aspect of the kit that was buffed.
Nice little dance on the bot side as they trade back and forth. See Blabber heading back down towards the bot as well. We'll see if he can join in anything as Vulcan starts to ward it up. And I am excited to see what Golden Glue can do on this Lucian. Like you were saying, they gave him the powerhouse lanes. I talked about Golden Glue a little bit in game 1, and he really has shown himself a lot. So to say he's got to show himself more is definitely wrong. But I think for him, he wants to see the results come in, right? We've seen him make the plays. It just seems like he makes it to the finish line, and it doesn't come through for him. So it would be awesome for him and the fans to see that happen. And here, he can make it happen himself, so that's very cool to see. Yeah,
I mean, Golden Glue has a super long history in the LCS bouncing around teams. He actually spent almost 2 years between Cloud9 and Cloud9 Academy. Yeah. So big history with the organization as well, and he's always tried to put in the extra work to show up on the stage games. Now in the playoff series here, it is going to be critical, and we'll see if they can rely on the performance. Snare lands here from Bang. Quickly fended off by Sven and Vulcan, though.
Absolutely. That's Golden Glue is a mentality you absolutely have to recognize, especially as a coaching staff. Here we see the lanes, 27-17. We know he's going to be able to give Nisqy a bit of harass, and Nisqy's looking for a quick 6 here so he can get out of that lane and pressure other things. So far, so good there. Sven doesn't look like he'll get the dive just yet. The wave hasn't collapsed, but they will find Blabber. So we'll see how this one plays out as Huni is going to have Licorice pushed up. They can get the 2v2 going. The smoke screen looks like it'll just close this one off from an actual fight, though.
And Blabber's got his recall off, too, so he's feeling, pretty good about. Ooh, flash blown.
That was quick. Oh, flash blown again as they try to go back in for the fight. It seems like everything is just out of reach to make it work on this one. Very low mana for your marksman here. And it looks like they will back off to just keep farming. Nothing ever happened.
Interesting, because we had a wraparound gank. Blabber's actually dashed over the back of the Dragon Pit, walked around the Scuttle Crab, and ganking topside Huni right now, but bottom side was scrapping too.
As well, Huni's pretty healthy in that fight as he scraps shielding away. He's getting the alcove play, but down on bot. Sven gets the heal coming in, putting back to 300 as now we're to top the 2v1s for Rumble. We know how dangerous it can be for the opponents ganking the Rumble, and Huni looks like he's going to probably pick up a kill on Licorice. One harpoon, a second one follows, and he can't keep going with the turret damage, and now it's Blabber in the alcove. Can he make it? Nope, he cannot. He goes down. That's first blood for Huni. What an extended fight to just walk Cloud9 around for Svenskeren to get there.
Yep, they go at Huni's Rumble, and Svenskeren is able to arrive in time. They chase down. Blabber's cornered in the alcove, dodging as much as he can. Nowhere to go, though, on the outside. Once again, Blabber got here by dashing over the back of the Baron Pit. Then he's able to run straight at Huni. Now, sweeper on, Huni is cornered. He's trying to buy time for Svenskeren, so it's important to dodge. He's able to get out of the damage from that end of the line, and then flashes towards Svenskeren, who chases Blabber through, flash for flash there as well, allowing Huni the 1v1 with Ornn, who can just burn him down, forces him out of the fight completely away. Then it's a 1v2, and Huni can go collect the rewards in the 2v1.
I like that Huni with the T1 first blood emo. Remembering. Yep. He's remembering. He's ready to champion this game right now. We'll see if he can do so. One kill to that Huni Rumble pick on the top side of the map. And C9 wanted that. Remember, that was Huni being able to contest it back. But now to the bot side, that's the level 6 Nisqy. We know he wanted out of the mid lane as fast as possible. And that is Bang going down.
Cloud9 trying to continue to fight around bottom triangle of the map off of their Kalista lane, while EG trying to fight off their winning solo lane matchups. Both of them finding some purchase. First blood over to EG, obviously, but Cloud9 quick to respawn. And once again, successful Twisted Fate ults. Now he's going to successfully gold card the attempted steal.
Oh, he was hoping it was low enough that he could just go for the flip side hit. The rest of the team now in a 3v4, but C9's very low, and Huni should be able to pick up quite a few kills here. Overheating is going to stop him on Nisqy, but Vulcan flashes right in to get cooked. Oh, he thought there was enough time from the overheat and they could get out alive, but there's never enough time against Huni.
Yeah, it looked wild here with the attempted flank from Svenskeren going for the steal. Nisqy found him out and stunned him up so they get the kill after forcing him in. But because of Huni's teleport, we get to see the famed Rumble ultimate at Dragonfight. And he comes in with the flank. Flame Splitter actually doing most of the work there. Even returning topside on a cannon wave, so not losing too much out there in the CS from the Ornn trying to push, although Licorice does still hold the level lead. 3 kills now on Huni for his proactive use. This is Huni's Rumble that has always been banned out, talked about so much.
Yep. It's not banned out as well, and he is enjoying it right now, just continuing 3-0, 8 minutes in on this game. And now Licorice is going to have some work to do as we go back down to this fight here on the bot side. The teleport comes in. Huni separates himself immediately from Licorice and just gets out. So he calls in the Ornhorn too.
Yep, then bottom lane comes up. Nice hook there from Zeyzal. It kind of sections off Cloud9, so Huni has to only deal with 2 members. He can burn down Kalista first, and Zeyzal comes in chasing with Golden Glue to force the other ones out, and they also got to push the extra minion wave in.
Vulcan hoping for a bit of that Guardian proc. You could see him on Nisqy. He's like, come on, come on. Not coming up for him. Unfortunate, but good thought, though, as he kind of just fed up another kill to Huni. He's even happier about the play, and Huni's charged up here just above heat level so he can do some extra damage. Right for Blabber as he knows Svenskeren's coming through. That's one quick hit, and that is going to be Blabber going down. Golden Glue quickly rotates mid as his lane was already pushed. That's what he's been doing to Nisqy, and that's why we've been seeing Nisqy rotate to the fights. Golden Glue finally gets the one quick and can help that pressure.
Yeah, pretty greedy there from Cloud9. Blabber starting up that Rift Herald, and then they try and fight on Huni's Rumble again. burns them down. Licorice is going for the long run. If Orin could use the blast cone to just buy some more time, but you have to buy a lot longer than he's going to have.
All right, so Golden Glue assist. Zeyzal says, nah, I don't need an assist on that. And that was nice. At least a charge forward so that kill doesn't go to Golden Glue. But still to Sven, and he's feeling good on Lee Sin here as he enters back into his jungle. So EG resetting on the map, bringing a few members back out of base here. Some core items being finished up, and that means they are leaps and bounds ahead of their opponents right now, at least with what they're on the map with.
That last Rift Herald force was really critical for EG. That Huni just turns on Blabber, roasts him as Svenskeren heading up, because not only did they get those kills, but getting the Rift Herald as well for the early plate money to give more power to the early game focus that EG have pulled up here. With the Lucian, you're always trying to play aggressively in your lane. You see the CS lead here held by Golden Glue in mid. And you try and transfer that, pushing in onto the turret plates as Blade of the Ruined King is done. So first item Power Spike is here, and then you can use the Rift Herald to finish off one of these towers with the lower turret plates and the extra armor they do give.
A little fight here on the bot side as Bang firing over the shoulder of his support of Zeyzal. Zeyzal goes gold. Fate's Call comes in, and they may want to continue this fight. They know Svenskeren's just above. That rend was enormous coming in from Sven. The heal there to keep them in the fight and going. And I do not think Zeyzal expected the damage. Huni coming in once again in between the turrets, behind the turrets. It doesn't even matter. Behind enemy lines is where this man lives, and the shot's almost enough, but the potion chug just in time here keeps Blabber alive. Now Vulcan's in a sore spot as Svenskeren was still roaming around after taking Dragon, and now he's in a 3v1. Over the wall, finds it. That's one quick kick, and he's going to be able to take down Blabber. Now another one is facing Svenskeren. Says, you're in here with me.
EG bet all in on early game Ariv. They bet all in on game number 3, the must win, and it is paying off. You could double their money now. They just go full steam ahead, diving the tower. Huni's Rumble at the forefront again, right behind the tower. 2v1 forces them off, flashes in even, and everybody playing off that aggression. Golden Glue diving the tower. Svenskeren taking that 2v1 as well. Turned into a 3v1 as Blabber flashed in front of Sven to save his life. He takes the bullet, takes the Sonic Wave for his AD carry, but just gets immediately killed as well. And we're right back out to it.
And Huni taking Licorice down to half HP immediately. I think if there wasn't a cannon wave here, that would have just been an instant fight and kill. Quarter of a cooldown now coming up onto that equalizer as Huni quickly clears out the wave. And we'll see this one more time. He's walking with confidence. He knows it's going to be a kill for himself. He comes through, and equalizers especially from that range, just playing it out can usually be difficult for a player, but he doesn't hesitate one bit.
This is why if you do something, you have to do it 100%. They picked 2 heavily winning solo lanes, so Huni could push up and go for the dive. Then Svenskeren is taking the 1v3 in here, kicks him over, flashes forward. Even though Blabber jumps in front, he'll take that kill instead. That's fine. They're still sending the Kalista back to base. And just the full commitment here on diving through and trying to take that momentum forward. We saw another effective Rumble use, and Golden Glue trying to keep up the pressure. Him getting Niski that low, 50% under turret in the first place, is why EG go for the play.
We saw Senna down there picking up a few souls. Ken at 10 minutes, so a few more as she has been able to pick up in lane. We'll keep you updated on those throughout the game as it goes. Golden Glue now has blue buff in mid, and he can just start slinging spells at Niski. And it's going to be a quick use of the Ghost to get out of that. Switched over to teleport in the Unsealed Spellbook. Now Huni is back in another 2v1. Has taken quite a bit of damage after the Brittle started to get him locked down. And now Niski's up here to take down Svenskeren as they saw him on the Destiny Eye. And that is a quick hit. Golden Glue now trying to get his hand on this fight, and that's a quick kill. One piercing light, the resonating strike coming in from Svenskeren, and on the edge of a fight, Cloud9 thought they were owning. Oh my God, is this happening right now? Everybody being baited in.
What a bait here. Niski stopwatch and inventory. Golden Glue didn't check before he finished off that dive. But Riv, they're still getting the early kills. They're pushing it ahead. They have to worry about how much gold they give back over to Cloud9, because again, this is a must-win game for EG. Cloud9 are sitting pretty. They have the extra buffer here with the 2-game lead. Here's a look at the setup, though. Blabber is in the Fog of War on your right, so that's why Licorice is going for the all-in here onto Huni, and they do make it count, even with the Senna ultimate coming up from bottom lane. Svenskeren then coming in, Nisqy just flashes right on him, and if it was just Svenskeren, they would have been able to chase him off, but Golden Glue flashes in to save his jungler, and they pick up the second kill, but then Golden Glue goes for the fateful dive onto Nisqy. His red buff was still on him too, so the tower acquired target right before going into Zhonya's as well, and then just finished him off.
that was a big one where you're like, yeah, I'm so powerful. Wait, why is this thing hitting me already?
It's a little early for that.
Oh, yeah. Still super aggressive, and they're sticking to it. I love seeing that. You can't let up. You can't feel like, great, we have a lead. Let's go to taking objectives and take turrets when they make a mistake. No, you make your opponent make mistakes with the lead you have, and you keep pressuring them into disadvantageous situations. So Svenskeren now trying to take up Herald. They'll have eyes on this, so they know what movement around the map is happening from Evil Geniuses on the side of Cloud9, but there's not much they can really do about it right now. EG is doing a great job at protecting themselves, even if they're going forward. I say that after we watched Golden Glue dive. You get it.
All right, Cloud9.
Huni going to pull down that equalizer, and not much is going to come of it as he gets taken down by 4, and we see how much C9 is committing on a bit of these plays. That's going to leave mid open, and Rift Herald here for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Cloud9 committing to try and take out the big impetus for that problem, the Rumble. So they all attack Huni. It does come at the cost of mid lane turret, but with the Rift Herald already in inventory for EG, they were probably going to lose that one anyway. Here we go.
Golden Glue standing toe-to-toe with 3 to 4 of his enemies for a secret play from the brush, and gets out pretty much unscathed. These are the kind of things you need to see. This team, everybody finding windows of opportunity, not just Zeyzal or Svenskeren with a hook and a kick. Really cool stuff. Vulcan now playing a bit of sentry for Sven as he farms a bit low on wards, and he does not want to use the pink right for this brush.
Should be split map here as Ornn continues to push through, takes the top tower, and Twisted Fate ultimate ready.
Rinse and repeat on Huni. That seems to be the name of the game right now for Cloud9. They're going to have to chase him real far into the turret. The flash forward, and almost that save coming through for Bang on the shield, just short on the cross-map fire, and Cloud9 seem like they have a plan in mind.
Yep, continuing to attack Huni. They take him down again. Now, he had the decision whether he wanted to try and flash for some of that damage, but Senna ultimate coming through, maybe thought he was going to get enough with the shield not to go down. And Cloud9 are getting some gold back for themselves and splitting the map here. So they give up bottom side turret for them taking top side one. The problem that they're going to run into might be the Dragons, as EG with the 2-0 early lead on Dragons, but Cloud9 catching right back up in gold, and Licorice approaching ornament time, where he's able to upgrade his own items and then start handing out those of everybody else. Keep your eyes on the Twisted Fate ultimate cooldown, because that is where they've really been able to pressure EG in the cross-map plays. EG trying to play so aggressively, you end up spreading out on the map and fanning out, and trying to, if you spread yourself a little bit too thin, that's where comps with Twisted Fate will punish you really heavily. The Ornn teleport being up too means that Huni can get, or Licorice can get in there very quickly and get the long-range CC to set it up.
Just about at 17 minutes, Senna was at 25 stacks. So she does get that 25 range, 25 critical strike. Bang! Oh my word, from screens away. Bang goes down as Cloud9 shows us how they want to initiate with this composition.
Another pick here. Yep, that is definitely long-range Ornn ultimate. He landed the slow and then right through. Bang did not flash the second part of the Ornn ultimate either. So a lot of EG members saving flashes here. Maybe it comes to fruition when they try and fight the dragon. 2.5 minutes left away. If sometimes, you know, you give up some gold here in the mid stages while you're waiting for the objective, you can argue, hey, could be a big flash play at this dragon fight. They're focusing on you know, getting to that soul. It is a cloud soul once again though for them.
Correction, 15% critical strike chance rather. with Senna's souls coming through. We'll keep you updated on those. 20 CS behind, but getting a few of those stats to help out. Looking at core items now. Zhonya's in there for Nisqy. We saw him getting a little too tricky with those in honor of Messiah there in a few plays last game. I think he'll be a bit more careful with where he's going so he can help out the team in the fights. EG with a 2K gold lead here, feeling like they can roam through the jungle alone, and that's not the case. Cloud9 pick up another kill onto Huni quickly from about 3-0 to 4-4 now for that top laner. Zeyzal tries to get into the fight as Svenskeren a little bit pitched. Golden Glue's culling is not going to hit much, but Sven is low. All of Cloud9 is still happy to take this fight as they are moving forward as 5, and they're looking for a kill. The next one's going to be on Svenskeren. The follow-through comes in from Licorice, and Cloud9 now stands tall. 16 seconds on the Baron, 1 minute on to your Cloud Drake.
This is something that was true of Cloud9 as well at their greatest heights. Even when they were losing some of the earlier skirmishes, they never give up on forcing those plays. And they just been picking Huni over and over. This time he flashes as well, and they still get the kill. More money to the side of Cloud9. They've almost completely closed that gold lead. Thankfully for the EG side, they can revive before that dragon comes up. But Cloud9, look at that. Because of the success that they have had in the last 8 minutes, they've racked up bounties on 4 of their members. They just keep on forcing through. And Nisqy with the Zhonyas can get super aggressive now with his Twisted Fate. Here's a look. Huni, what are you doing poking around in this jungle? These are not your areas as he gets chased out, flashed out as well, and Cloud9 are happy to pounce on that one. A little bit too far forward into enemy territory there for Huni. Then Golden Glue tries to take down Sven on the outside, but Sven flashing over and then avoiding the culling means there's no counter kill, so Svenskeren eventually will get chased down as Nisqy flashed for him. Roar.
Fire breath. I can see Huni wanting to be there, right? Scrap Shield plus Cloud Drake, you probably feel invincible as you're flying around the map at 100 miles an hour. So seeing what that can come out of, he's like, I'm cool to be here. I can slow you with a harpoon. Oh, wait, again, the other team can initiate from screens away. So
then you walk over the control ward in the bush and you're like, oh, they know I'm here. Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, we are investigating audio issues right now for Cloud9. That's why we have this quick pause. Maybe comms got flooded there as they are all getting amped, running, kill Huni, get him! And they are successfully able to do it again. But this is just building up to a crescendo in this game as EG came out just firing in the early stages and got this big gold lead. But Cloud9 have come right back, closed the distance, and they are just one game away from closing up the series to continue on through playoffs.
Yeah, it's the elimination game, right? And it could be a rematch of TSM if that's the way that the games go. As we look at the way the bracket works out, it's still TSM versus Golden Guardians, elimination from that match, and we just get it playing on and on. I'm actually loving the playoff bracket this time around because we're seeing it not be a fluke for some teams. But looking back at this game, C9 is on that game point. They've pushed EG back, and to see how often C9 is able to do this, how strong they are in splits, even when they falter to find success once again, it is pretty incredible, and they've been an organization to always do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, everyone's talking about the streak of Worlds appearances, going to be on the line, but they are used to it with all their gauntlet runs. Meanwhile, EG, I like the commitment to the style in this game, you know? Okay. When your season is in danger of ending, they put everything through with this style.
Live evil.
Huni, Rumble, Golden Glue, go all out with the Lucian. Go for it. You know what? Win lane, push in, try and make these aggressive plays. Try and snowball the game. You can see the draft here, how it played out. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, they were like, okay, we'll pick the Senna Nautilus. And they've actually been setting up a decent amount around that as well. A lot of snares landing for them, but Cloud9, I think the Twisted Fate pick is really shown up as being one of the keys of them getting a lot of the picks to get back in this one.
Even if and we're getting back into the game quite shortly, even if the game goes kind of awry early, we'll see Nisqy leave lane right before 6 or just around 6, and Golden Glue doesn't expect it. Oh, he backed. But then from base, he's somewhere else. He's bot. He's making that presence immediately. And we saw it in this game. Because the Lucian pushes you in, he had to get out of that lane quick. And we expected to maybe see some more jungle pressure, always towards the mid lane. We did see it in the second game when they kept hitting up Golden Glue's Cassiopeia to make sure that was dead. But this time it's taking out Huni. They've always had an objective, and they've always been able to go after that, even in the kind of eyes of Evil Geniuses continuously winning fights. C9 doesn't break from their objective.
Yeah, I mean, you live by Huni, you die by Huni. We'll see. Is he getting these big kills with Rumble? Is he burning people down? Or, does he get picked off by Cloud9?
Well, the thing is they just smother him, right? If he's going to lay down the equalizer, they just all dive towards him because he's not laying it on himself anymore, and they're just finding a way to quickly get around that now and chase him out of the fight. So Huni's got his work cut out for him here. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yep. We'll get into the thrilling conclusion of the game quite shortly here.
Right now.
And speak of it, we're right back out. All right, Huni has revived, back out here with the Rumble. 2 items. He did rush right into the Void Staff afterwards. Yep. Teleport is ready for both top laners.
We're back in, and so is Cloud9. Zeyzal forced to flash over the wall. Golden Glue and Svenskeren have a really nice side swipe on this fight. Huni screaming through with the scrap shield. The equalizer is a cutoff for what would be the fight onto the right side. Licorice still gets out okay, and Cloud9's not damaged too much by that Rumble ult. Now, Drake is up. This is number 3 coming in. No soul on either side of the map, but it would be nice to have that Rumble ultimate here. Not too much of Cloud9 was used to get away from EG on that fight, Kobe. This one goes back in. Fate's Call starts from Sven, and they're right on to Zeyzal. Now going down onto Nisqy. The rest of Cloud9 has the back of EG, though. As Nisqy uses that Zhonya's he got in this game, he's going to be able to get the help needed from the Cavalry to take down Huni on this fight once again. And C9 knew the big ults were down, and they could once again run right through.
Cloud9 taking over now. Yes, they will have a Cloud Soul fight in the back of their minds, but it's pretty far in the back of their minds now, because after winning that fight, you can get the Baron, unless Svenskeren gets some sort of miracle still here. Let's see if EG can maneuver Svenskeren through to pull it off. Otherwise, Cloud9 Baron will be devastating.
Golden Glue in, trying to draw distractions. Svenskeren with a pretty early Q, so he has to get in close with a safeguard here. Kicks away. 300 HP. Oh my God, Baron got so low before they smited. Blabber didn't even get that off, or didn't have it up. And they're going to be getting into the fight now. Svenskeren picking that up for Evil Geniuses, and they're moving through with confidence now. A double kill coming in for Golden Glue. And Kobe, I saw it at 800, 500, 400, 300. What was happening?
Well, Cloud9 had the rend. Sven does get killed. Blabber got kicked. Svenskeren played it really nicely, getting into the back of the pit. And Svenskeren versus his old team makes a hero play. This is how we got there, though. Dragon fight. Okay. Teleport in here from Cloud9. They chase him down. Remember, there is no ultimate from Huni because he just whiffed one towards the mid lane. Without that ultimate, Cloud9 are free to chase down Evil Geniuses. They pick up these kills and like, okay, you know what? Everybody survives. Blabber barely healing up there means we can go right to Baron and force it. They want to try and combo the Rend and the Smite from Blabber, but you see on the outside here, Svenskeren. Well, never mind. You can go look at the replay yourself if you're on a rewind. Baron buff is in the hands of EG now. We got to live in the present. No use living in the past.
Horn comes out, fired over towards the Raptor pit, and the fight ensues. A very low bang. Has to leave this one and heal off the buff, but it's not going to be enough. Zeyzal goes down quickly to Cloud9, and they're trying to pincer in from every side now. It's going to be Vulcan diving in off of this one if they can catch Svenskeren. A quick battle dance to his teammate, and there the knock up, the pop up. Sven is down, and they're looking for even more. Bang's trying to heal on the way out, and they do have a good recall, but they need to get out fast. Actually trying to turn on Nisqy, but Licorice is there for help. Mid's being pushed. Cloud9 now getting a bit of control over the map where they're able to move the waves. It shows you how forward and how far ahead EG was previously.
Yeah, and Cloud9 have no reason to slow down. Gone over how crazy their initiation is so many times. You have Rakan, Ornn, and Twisted Fate. that is guaranteed able to get to the back line of EG, able to stun up and lock down somebody. They've used it over and over on Huni to punish Huni on the Rumble, get multiple kills for them to get back into it. But despite a lot of the objectives going EG's way, Cloud9 are getting a lot of the kills. And they have now surpassed EG in money. The Cloud Soul fight is now approaching for Evil Geniuses, though, and they still have 1:29 left Baron buff here, at least on Huni and Golden Glue.
Back onto the Rift. Bang rotating up. He's now at 39 stacks on the Senna. No kills to his name, though, just the assist as the bot lane having a bit of trouble getting good participation in these fights. We saw Bang get pushed off so quick last fight, and then previous ones he cannot get to that kind of front line because the back line, like you said, already has Vulcan and Nisqy on it immediately. 25 minutes on the clock, just passing here as we have a Cloud Drake coming up, and this is Soul Kobe. EG is going to set themselves up here, and we'll see how much they're going to fight for this one.
And Nisqy with the 15 stacks in his Medjais has the extra bonus as well on top of it. Licorice does have teleport on the Ornn for the Cloud9 setup on this Dragon. And EG definitely want a big boost of power with getting the Soul, but they have to be so careful. The bigger thing on your mind should be the team fight. If you get the Soul here and you lose the team fight to Cloud9, you will still lose.
Yep. That's a really great point. Seeing where the TF ult's coming from, Licorice throws it to the backside, instantly get banged. He did not know which way to look. What a combo from Cloud9, just sorting out what members of EG they need. Now Zeyzal drops Sven, so the marksman is down on both sides. Zeyzal and Golden Glue, however, just getting pushed out of the fights with slivers of health. Huni and Sven on the back line. Can they do enough damage or just be a distraction? Neither's enough, and Cloud9 is able to whittle away for the Bud Light ace against Evil Geniuses.
Nisqy says, not even close, baby. Walks his way out. He does not drop in the end. Cloud9, they get the team fight and the Dragon. Best of all worlds there. It's a full ace, so they will lay destruction. That's gotta be at least the inhibitor here.
Just they head back. JK. They're happy with what they need. Honestly, not doing too much damage just yet to a bunch of the structures, especially if Bang's going to be pushing them off. Blabber here by himself, able to get up close with all the shotgun bullets, will be able to destroy some stuff. And now we're getting up here onto 30 minutes. We'll watch a replay of that previous fight.
All right, so Nisqy Twisted Fate. You see him on the mini-map down in the bottom here. He's got a Zhonya, so he can go very deep to initiate. Their eyes are on Bang. Look at this. Gold card into Ornn ultimate. Knock up. He's dead before he hits the ground, Riv. Now, without the Senna there, it's an attempt at a really good comeback in the teamfight. Svenskeren able to pull off the kick to get the kill for EG onto Kalista. But because Cloud9 got such an early lead in the team fight by taking down Senna, they just pull through by pulling down into the red quadrant of the jungle and just further chase the rest of EG, cleaning up those kills and kiting just enough for Nisqy to live.
The whole team is getting in on this, too. Look at the damage from Blabber. Ornhorn comes out. EG is going to have to contest this one as Cloud9 is always wanting the fight. Svenskeren going very low, coming back up from Resurrection, probably going to go down real fast. But can he stay alive is the question. Vulcan finds him with a bit of damage from Sven, and they take him down immediately. Sven now moving in towards Golden Glue. He is the last one standing. EG just got aced, and it looks like they will all be going back to their base once again. Another ace for Cloud9.
And this time around, right next to Baron, teleport can come out as well, so Nisqy gets back out to pushing. Cloud9 with Ren should be able to secure it. Whew. Another initiation, and again, Nisqy teleporting with Twisted Fate into the backline onto Bang. Just the Lich Bane gold card with his 25 stacks Medjais. Takes out 50% of his health, just annihilating him in the backside, allowing the rest of Cloud9 to deal with the rest of the team.
Just putting the finishing touches on this one. No smite, but no need this time. Not a worry. This Red Bull Baron going over to the side of Cloud9, and that will help them get to the lanes they need and do whatever they need now to really close out this game. 8,000 gold lead after being down about 2, maybe 2.5, so 10,000 gold comeback so far, and they are pushing that. 26 to 15 kills in what has been a bloody series, Kobe, as these teams continue to go punch for punch.
Yeah, we're seeing the aftermath of what happens if you don't snowball when you all in on lanes like this with the solo lane picks.
It was almost there. It was almost there.
Yeah, but that's why a lot of teams are too scared to do it. It's so dangerous. If you make a mistake, if you give some gold back over, then you start to get crushed in it.
Vulcan clear out and ward duty right now, as they are really no fear for C9 to be moving around the jungle. They have the ability to escape. Vulcan can even pressure to kind of bait things like this. He says, hey, is there anything in this brush? Yes. Did I bait him?
Found ya.
Did I curse him? He can get out. There's the dance out for himself. The entrance to exit, if you will. Ultimate comes down from Huni, and everything seems to be not something they can follow up on from Evil Geniuses. They want the ult, they want to deter Cloud9, but there's no follow-up damage, so it just looks like it's making it easier for Cloud9 to take what they want.
Yeah, I mean, these are the benefits of having the Ornn topside tank, right? He's just massive front line. Meanwhile, EG have no structure to their team fights, so it's really hard for them. And they had to pull out, some bush ganks or something. But here we go, Cloud9 looking to get the 3-0 sweep. Can they finish?
Yep, yeah, Cloud9 coming in through that lower bracket saying the water's fine. We know what a gauntlet's like. We like playing consecutive games and taking consecutive series. This one is going to be a 3-0 over Evil Geniuses.
All right, Cloud9 in gauntlet form activated, Riv. In the lower bracket here, they pick up their 3 wins versus EG. And we'll move on to the next best of 5 that is necessary for them to win to claim that world spot.
And stronger and stronger fashion throughout. They were able to find the compositions they wanted to play. I think you pointed out rightfully so. TF continued to play a huge part in these compositions of just being able to start things off even if other lanes were looking bad or the jungle didn't get the start it wanted.
Yeah, and huge props to the bottom lane of Cloud9 for all series long, being a big point of power for them. Really good adaptation here. I'm still going to look at quite a few champions for Cloud9 as we progress through their champion select in this playoff series, because there's quite a few things that have popped up, like Lilia, still the Caitlyn, things that are going to morph as we get more and more games on 10-16. And teams continue to adapt.
All right, well, there it is. Cloud9 takes the victory over Evil Geniuses. We are going to be taking a quick break, but when we come back, we will have Sven for your Verizon post-game interview. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS. Forcecast says that the evil has been neutralized as Cloud9 press further within their playoff run here in the lower bracket. Sven, after that victory, a 3-0 for Cloud9, but I just have to get from you, what has morale been like now that you're facing what feels a bit more like the gauntlet?
I think we were just confused when we lost the FlyQuest. We were like, we lost the FlyQuest. I honestly thought we were going to sweep them 3-0 and it wasn't even going to be funny what we did to them, but we lost 3 games, and the games we lost, like the second game and third game, sorry, was like really bad. We were so far ahead and we threw, and scrims, we look so much different. We are so much more aggressive, so much more decisive. We don't make like these bad plays. So I was like just honestly confused that we lost. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, I thought this was going to be a easy win. But I think we watched the series and we came to the conclusion that we just had a really bad day, bad play, and bad understanding of our drafts, win conditions, and we fought too much early when we had scaling drafts, and we fought, at worst times possible. So I think just reset and focus on next series.
And that's part of it, right? Focusing from series to series. And admittedly, if you look at even Bang before that had tweeted earlier in the day, congratulating Cloud9 on going to Worlds. So I think their expectations were to be facing FlyQuest here again. But it was you two facing off against one another. And I want to dive into some of the differences in the series because unlike game 1 and 3, the second game was a bit of a deeper shade of the Cloud9 dominance. What do you think was the reasoning for that? Was it draft or something otherwise?
I think it's no secret that we do a lot better when our bot lane has agency. Like our original, spring split dominance came from like this winning bot lane, stacking dragons, swapping for heralds, doing 4 dragons in 25 minutes into the game. And that game has all that. We have winning bot lane matchup, or at least it's equal, right? And we have, lots of playmaking with Blitzcrank, TF, and Kalista. So I think we just do a lot better when we have playmaking in the bot lane, and top side is more of a tank or utility role. So I think it's very much draft related, and also shows that we don't play as well when our bot lane doesn't have early game agency, which is a flaw that we have as a team. So I guess it shows that.
You and Vulcan were out synergizing Bang and Zeyzal with the Kalista play, and kind of diving a bit deeper into that, you and your consistent performance is clearly a part of why reliance on the bot lane is key. But do you think it's as much that as the fact that dragon control and things are as important, or is it a mixture of both within the meta?
I think the soul is important. If it's like Ocean or Infernal, even Mountain in some games, it's really powerful. So I think having early game agency is really important. I think we as a team play the best when our bot lane and jungle has that agency, and Nisqy and Eric are playing some sort of like either tank or a roaming champ from Nisqy, or like something that can do their own thing, but also roam or have globals like TF, Galio in the past. Like we play much better with those champions. So I think just our identity as a team is bot lane wins early game, and jungle deals with the dragons. We get dragons, herald swaps, we play on neutrals. That was like our original style. So I think us moving to something more scaling like Ezreal, Yuumi, and FlyQuest isn't something that we are bad at. We're just not as good at that as we are as other things. So yeah.
And some of those things were clearly showcased here in this match, which was one of the 2 remaining series that actually stand between you and Worlds qualification. For you, that would mean attending for the first time since 2017 when you were there when it was in China, first time since coming to NA. You are still the only player to have a title in both the North America and Europe. How hungry are you to attend Worlds once again, especially considering the pressure that is faced by Cloud9 due to the earlier success in the season?
Yeah, going to Worlds is definitely my most important goal for this year. Winning a title and being the first to win in both regions is obviously a big thing, and it was a big deal to me. And it was my goal at first when I came here 2 years ago with Mithy and joined TSM, right? But nowadays, I just want to go to Worlds. It's more important to me. Even though it's online this year, it's still more important to me to go to Worlds than to win a split. And now I have won a split, so I really just want to go to Worlds. I don't really mind if we go to Worlds and lose finals to someone else. It's not that big of a deal to me as compared to going to Worlds. So I have my sights set on Worlds more than anything. So, yeah.
It's worlds in your mind. So I'm sure you're all locked into this next series, which is either going to be between TSM or Golden Guardians, depending on the result tomorrow. Who do you think it's going to be, and how do you think that matchup would play out?
I think last time GGS swept TSM because TSM was not very prepared. They didn't do their preparation, I think, in those 2 days between their Sunday match into their match against GGS. But I think judging from scrims versus GGS and TSM, TSM looks a lot better than it did last time. So I think it'll be a close match. I think GGS looked okay versus TL in the early game, but they looked really bad in the mid game. So we'll see, I guess. I think it's going to be closer than last time. It'll be like 4 or 5 games at least. So I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 stomp either way anymore. So it's going to be close. And it could be fun playing against TSM in the World's deciding match.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you have maybe a little extra motivation if it comes between you and TSM going to Worlds. But thanks for stopping on by. It may be a close series coming up, but I'm sure we're all going to be watching it closely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Cloud9 fans are feeling pretty divine as the single series stands behind them in a World Championship qualification. For us to hear more on the matchup that we just witnessed, let's send things over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, LaTigris. Sven giving some thoughts ahead of tomorrow's series, which will determine their next opponent in elimination best of 5 to make it back to that upper bracket and challenge for the final spot at Worlds. But they do what they need to do today. They lock it up in 3-0 fashion. And, Mark, they've done it in one of the bloodiest games in LCS history here up against Evil Geniuses.
I mean, this is a scrappy comp. You want Huni's on his Rumble. You got Lucian mid. You got Lee Sin. It's Kalista bot with Rakan. It's going to be a bloody game no matter what. It was even bloodier than I thought it was going to be, though.
It was a Hail Mary out of VG, really, when you're chucking out a Lucian mid with a Lee Sin and the Rumble top when you have no business in the late game, so you're trying to just win as hard as possible. And it looked like they were going to do it.
Prolly? What was that?
Prolly is
Prolly?
Am I?
Can you? Oh, Prolly's dead.
Prolly's tweaking.
So we're gonna let him sort that out in the meantime. So let's dive back in because we had asked the question, rather I had asked the question going into Game 3. You know, with Huni on the roster and things not working out with the strategies they had laid out in Games 1 and 2, is it time to pivot to a more quick carry-oriented champ in the top lane? And that is what they did this time around, and it looked to start off right.
Yeah, it was exactly what we were hoping for when they started playing Huni on Rumble, his signature champion at this point, I think it's fair to say. And he was popping off. I mean, they were running the game through him. He was taking fights. It was really impressive to see Huni getting this is a pretty fun
skill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really well played 1v2.
The what was it called? The gaming, the
Alcove Gaming.
Alcove Gaming. Yeah.
There it is. Prolly, are you back?
I think I'm back. This is actually, I think, the second gank this series where Huni's being 2v1'd and he turns the gank around for himself. So he's doing a really good job kind of baiting out these fights. And yeah, a lot of this early game started to go into EG's favor, and can Huni actually carry hard enough, because he was pretty much the only one that was getting these kills, and he was making these TP plays. We haven't seen a TP advantage play in so long, but this one was so good. We always talk about you need setup for the Rumble ult. He just gets this Rumble out with any CC and then hides in the bush and gets his camp. Like, this is the kind of Huni that I think they wanted to see all split.
Just such a good play. Yet, despite Huni's efforts, it really felt like the game was devolved into just sheer mechanics in team fights and a lot of individual mistakes, because Huni started 4-0. Within, I think, a 5-minute span, goes 4-4. Just 4 back-to-back-to-back deaths.
Yeah.
Like this and another one. Like,
they're all on pink wards,
Look
too.
at the map.
My
Why
goodness.
are you there?
I mean, he's so ahead. He's like, I can walk in here and I can fight anyone. And it's not the 1v2 that he was doing. It's a 1v3 each time, or a 1 versus 4. So,
right.
Yeah, you can outplay maybe one extra person, but not 3 or 4.
And I think you have to give credit to C9 actually starting to execute their comp there. They have the TF. They start making global plays inside lanes. And anytime Huni misses positions, they're on top of him. I think you have to give a little bit of credit to C9 for stabilizing, because they fell so far behind early on. We thought we were going to Game 4. And then to get pick off after pick off after pick off, punishing the really fed guy, I thought it was pretty impressive out of C9. And some of what made them so great in spring and the first half of summer was if they fall behind, they're never out of the game. They'll make the right plays, and they were doing that.
I love that call out, because in almost 100% of cases, when you see a 4-0 Rumble in a professional game, you're about ready to say, all right, lock it up, go next. They've extended the series, but Cloud9 giving us a glimpse of the Cloud9 of old, which never says die, always looks for the next play and takes that action. They were able to find it this time around. I think what's also interesting, too, is hearing from Sven specifically how he thinks Cloud9 plays best. With bot lane having agency, you heard it there, roamers and tanks engagers in the mid and the top side to really support that.
It's what we identified here on the analyst desk. You heard it here first. How C9 plays. Sven confirmed it for us.
Thank you very much, Sven. But it is. But if anything, I like to see it because this was the team that had done some experimentation, chalked up a lot of their, downturn in the middle of the split to that experimentation. And so if they feel they're finally finding their form, if they feel like they're finally landing on the right formula, that intrigues me for the next series and the series after that if they are to take it.
I think it's also really important that the bot lane steps up because should Golden Guardians beat TSM or TSM's bot lane answers, it feels very bot lane centric right now. And when you're struggling to make plays around bot lane with the importance of the Drakes as well, you're going to have a really tough time in playoffs. But this was a big step up performance out of their bot lane.
And wouldn't you know, when it's bot lane centric meta, it comes to staying alive in our playoffs. Everyone in C9 had to step up. Today, of course, Sven, above all others, popped off to earn himself a player of the series.
He had such a great showing. Despite not playing the Caitlyn, he still bodied Bang in the bot lane, especially game 1, where it was the largest discrepancy that we saw. But towards this second and third Kalista games was just really impactful. Not contested, and let's see what his KDAs ended up being. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. And not to mention, when they're drafting, they're taking 80 jungle and mid lane in the first 3. So it wasn't like they're taking, the Thresh Kalista or the Caitlyn Morgana together. They were actually splitting up the bot lane in draft, so they weren't even taking that many draft resources to get these picks. They did have early bans and early AD picks, but yeah, they were in no way just playing towards this, only win lane and don't scale. They had decent scaling, and even in one case they were getting banned out in supports and had to go to 4-5. So I do like the strategy they went with today, as long as they remember that this worked for them, and it worked for them earlier in the split. The TF in the first 3 in all 3 games, and even in the last game, they took TF in first 2 picks because they didn't want to give EG a chance to take it. So I hope they're going to just remember how the series went and what made them win.
I also got to give a little tip of the cap to Vulcan as well. Stepped up quite a bit. Not as impressive in the TK game because his TK is hard to stand out. But then the Ballista combos were on point with his Blitzcrank. And his recon this game was actually fantastic. A number of times Sven Skaren hopped in to try and get an insect. And he almost always had his recon ult popped to charm him out of any combos. He played fantastic in game 3 as well.
Vulcan a close second in that conversation. If we pull up the bracket, though, we're coming down to the wire here, gentlemen. Only a few more best of 5 stand between us and an LCS summer champion. There you can see on the top side, Team Liquid, FlyQuest, they're sitting pretty. They're waiting for the rest to do battle here at the bottom to see who will eventually rise to the top. TSM Golden Guardians, that's coming at you tomorrow. A rematch, a very exciting rematch because the first time around it was so dominant on the side of Golden Guardians, but Sven dropped that little bit of scrim knowledge there saying TSM has looked a lot better more recently. Do not forget to join us here tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. PST for the face-off between TSM and Golden Guardians as they race for the world's stage. And, of course, staying alive for that LCS title. Quick preview of tomorrow's matchups. How do you guys feel going into it, even after that little nugget of knowledge from Sven?
Oh, the Scrim Bucks are really swaying me here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
How many Scrim Bucks does it take, Crumbs? How many Scrim Bucks does it take for you to be a TSM fanboy?
For every 100 wins, which equals 100 Scrim Bucks, you get 1 LCS win. So
there it is.
I think that there's still not enough.
There's not enough time. They can't even scrim that many
How
games.
many Scrim Bucks is a Biofrost worth, though? Because they're still deciding on who's actually going to start the series. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, would that really raise your level of confidence? Because they did struggle with him in the lineup as well. What are you gaining there? You know that you're losing with Treats.
Laning synergy.
Well, not just laning synergy, but Bio has playoff experience, very high intense playoff experience, whereas Treats does not. So that could come into play.
Yeah, Bio's put out game-winning plays within best-of-5 finals before in his career. So I guess that is something to be considered. Probably, you seem to be grappling with this.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree Biofrost has more experience and probably a better pool, but TSM's bot lane was getting smashed, and that's because they weren't good enough together, not because the individual pieces aren't good. Doublelift is fine, Treats is fine. So I think the the support swaps that they're going through right now is going to still leave them in a rough spot. The only positive, I think, for TSM right now is they know Golden Guardians ban mid, so they're no longer going into the series expecting Bjergsen to be the hard carry. So they have time to kind of adapt and give resources to other people.
All righty. Well, only time will tell. A few hours till they lock that in. And then, of course, tomorrow they hit the Rift to do battle. That's going to do it for us here, though, on the LCS today. So now on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS playoffs. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Good night.